Growing up in a small village in East Africa, stories were as much a part of life as the sun rising each day. The elders shared tales that echoed through the nights, each one a lesson wrapped in mystery. One story always sent chills down my spine, the tale of the Amanzi. These were women who lived deep in the forest, emerging only during the full moon, searching for men to satisfy their needs. But those who went with them were never seen again. As a kid, I brushed it off. Just a scary story, I'd say, laughing with my friends. But as I got older, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was truth hidden within those tales. The village felt different on nights when the moon was full, almost electric, alive with an energy that set my heart racing. One evening, as the moon hung low in the sky, Tunde, my best friend, gathered a few of us around the fire. "Let's go into the forest," he said, eyes sparkling with excitement. "Let's see if the Amanzi are real." The idea thrilled and terrified me, but curiosity won out. The other boys nodded, eager for adventure, so we grabbed our flashlights and ventured into the night. As we stepped into the forest, darkness enveloped us. The trees stood tall like silent guardians, and the air felt heavy with secrets. The only sounds were our footsteps crunching on the fallen leaves and the distant calls of night creatures. Every shadow seemed to shift and whisper, heightening my sense of unease. After walking for about an hour, we stumbled upon a small clearing. We decided to take a break, lighting a small fire to ward off the chill. We joked and laughed, trying to shake off our nerves, but deep down, I could sense the tension building among us. The forest felt alive, as if it was watching us. Just then, as the flames flickered and danced, we saw them. At first, they looked like mere shadows gliding between the trees, but as they stepped into the light, my heart dropped. They were stunning long hair cascading down their backs, flowing dresses that seemed to shimmer in the moonlight, and smiles that could captivate anyone. But their eyes were devoid of warmth, dark and haunting. Tunde, always the bravest of us, called out, "Hello. Are you lost?" The women turned towards us, and their smiles widened, revealing teeth too sharp and too white. "Not lost," one said, her voice like velvet. "We are just looking for company." A thrill ran through me, but it was mixed with fear. The air felt charged, and I could almost hear the forest holding its breath. "Maybe we should go," I whispered urgently to Tunde, but he seemed entranced, stepping closer to the women. "They're just women," he laughed, dismissing my concern. As they approached, one of the women reached out and touched Tunde's arm. He shivered but didn't pull away. I felt my heart race, panic rising in my chest. "Tunde, we need to leave," I insisted, but my voice felt small, lost in the growing tension. The women began to sway, their movements graceful and hypnotic. The clearing filled with a strange rhythm, and my friends began to dance, drawn into the spell they cast. I stood frozen, watching in horror as Tunde lost himself in their allure. The laughter of the women echoed around us, and it felt wrong, like a trap. I remembered Mama Juma's warnings: once you go with them, you never return. A chill gripped me as I realized the danger we were in. I couldn't let my friend be taken. I turned and ran, my heart pounding in my ears. Branches whipped against my face as I fled through the darkness. The laughter of the Amanzi followed me, growing louder, taunting me. I could feel their presence behind me, but I dared not look back. The fear of what lay ahead drove me faster. Finally, I burst out of the forest and into the safety of the village. I stumbled to Mama Juma's hut, gasping for breath. Tunde. The others. "They're gone," I cried, panic spilling from my lips. Mama Juma looked at me with a mixture of pity and concern. "You should not have gone into the forest," she said softly. "The Amanzi come for those who seek them. You must warn the village." I spent the rest of the night on edge, watching the trees from the safety of my home. The moon was bright, but fear wrapped around me like a shroud. I could almost hear whispers in the wind, the faint laughter of the Amanzi echoing in my mind. When morning broke, I gathered my courage and went to the village square. I told everyone what had happened, how Tund and the others were lost to the Amanzi. Some laughed, shaking their heads. "Just a tale to scare children," they said. But others listened, their faces turning serious. They knew the forest was not a place for the curious. Days turned into weeks, and Tundi and the others never returned. I felt hollow inside, like a part of me was missing. I often wandered near the forest's edge, searching for any sign of them. Sometimes I would hear laughter drifting through the trees or see shadows flitting in the moonlight. It was as if the Amanzi were taunting me, reminding me of my failure to save my friends. One night, unable to shake the feeling, I ventured closer to the forest. The moon hung high, casting eerie shadows. I felt drawn to the clearing where we had first seen the Amanzi. With each step, my heart raced, a mix of fear and curiosity. As I approached the clearing, I stopped. The air felt thick, almost suffocating. Suddenly, I saw them again, those beautiful, haunting women. They stood in a circle, dancing under the moonlight, their laughter echoing in the night. It was a sound both beautiful and terrifying. I watched from the shadows, hidden behind a tree, my heart pounding. The sight was mesmerizing, yet it filled me with dread. I remembered Tundi's carefree smile and how quickly he had been lost to them. I knew I should turn back, but I couldn't move. Then one of the women turned and looked directly at me. My breath caught in my throat. Her eyes were dark and knowing. I felt as if she could see right through me, past my fear, into my very soul. A chill ran down my spine. "Join us," she beckoned, her voice soft yet commanding. "We have been waiting for you." I shook my head, backing away slowly. "No, I can't," I shouted, but my voice sounded weak and distant. The laughter stopped, and the women turned their full attention toward me. The air grew colder, and I could feel their hunger, a craving that was more than just for companionship. I felt an urge to run, but my legs felt heavy, as if the forest itself was holding me back. "Your friend chose to dance with us," another woman said, stepping closer. "He is with us now, happy and free." I wanted to scream, to run, but all I could do was stare. Memories of Tunda flooded my mind, his laughter, his friendship, the way he always pushed me to be brave. I could feel my heart breaking as I realized what had happened to him. "Please let him go," I begged, tears streaming down my face. He didn't understand. The women's expressions softened momentarily, and I thought I saw pity in their eyes. But then they exchanged glances, and their smiles returned, sharp and predatory. "Once a man dances with us, he belongs to the forest," one said, her voice chilling. "And soon you too will understand." In that moment, the spell broke. I turned and ran, adrenaline surging through my veins. I could hear their laughter behind me, echoing in the night, but I didn't stop. I dashed through the trees, branches clawing at my skin, until I finally burst out of the forest and into the safety of my village. I collapsed, gasping for breath, my heart racing. I didn't stop running until I reached my home. I locked the door and sat against it, shaking, tears streaming down my face. I had seen the Amanzi, and I knew they were real. From that night on, I became a different person. I no longer laughed at the stories of the elders. I avoided the forest, and on full moon nights I would sit inside, clutching a talisman my grandmother had given me for protection. But the memories haunted me. The laughter, the beauty, the darkness, it all lingered in my mind. I could feel Tundi's absence like a heavy weight, a reminder of the danger that lurked just beyond the trees. As the years passed, I became a guardian of sorts, warning the younger villagers about the Amanzi. Stay away from the forest during the full moon, I would tell them. If you hear laughter in the night, do not follow it. Some listened, others scoffed, thinking it was just a tale. But I knew better. I had seen the truth, and it was terrifying. Every full moon, I would sit by my window, watching the forest, listening for whispers in the wind. I knew the Amanzi was still out there, still searching for new men to join their eternal dance. And every time I heard laughter, my heart would race with fear. If you ever find yourself near the forest on a full moon, heed this warning: some things are better left undiscovered. Stay away from the shadows, for the Amanzi are real, and they are always waiting, always hungry for the next lost soul.